Every businessman is trying to figure out what great companies do different than the rest of the market. Jim Collins, with a group of researchers, answered that question and summarized it in their book, Good to Great. Out of all of the companies in the market, they have picked the companies that have outperformed the market by at least 3 times for at least 15 years in a row. These companies are from all different industries, and each of these companies were compared to their competitors who couldn't become the great company to find out what did they do different. So here are my favorite ideas from the book. So it turns out that what great companies did different is that instead of focusing on what, they have focused on who. A lot of companies focus on setting the vision and strategy first before doing anything else, and then they find the people to achieve that vision. But in great companies, they focus on getting the right people first and then figure out how to make this company great. Well, then the CEOs of these companies were asked, what did they do that? Their response was very simple. Imagine if this company is a bus and I don't know where should we take this bus. But if we get the right people in the bus and the wrong people off the bus, then we'll figure out how to take this bus to somewhere great. Because the leaders of these companies understood that the world is basically changing very fast and you have no idea what the heck is going to happen. So if you start with who rather than what, it will be easier for you to adapt to any changes. If people join the bus because of where it's going, what happens if you go 10 miles down to road and you need to change direction? You've got a problem. But if people are on the bus because of who else is on the bus, then it's much easier to change the direction. If you have the right people, you don't have to motivate them, you don't have to spend all that resources to keep them on the track, you don't even have to manage them. The right people are self-motivated, they are there because they want to create something great, and no matter what happens, they will work at their best to achieve that. And lastly, even if you figure out the right direction, a company can't become a great without great people. It's the people who make the company great. After getting the right people, here comes the strategy. All these companies lie down their strategy in the same way. They have focused on these 3 questions. First of all, at what can you be the best in the world and at what you can't be? Just because you're getting A in math doesn't mean that you can be the best in it in the world. I mean, look, it might take you just few days to get ready for that math test to get A, but there are people who will get A without even studying. Both of you get A's, but completely different A's. If you can't be the best at something in the world, then why you have to do it in the first place? So all these great companies understood the fact that if they can't be the best at something, then they just have to ignore it even if they are good at it. And sometimes what you can be the best at might not be something that you are doing currently. Again, think of it as in school. You might be good at math, but your true talent is in drawing, which is not taught in your school at all. At least it wasn't taught in my school. Anyways, it's not enough to figure out what you can be the best in the world at, but it's equally important what the company is deeply passionate about. If what you are doing is not something that you enjoy day to day, then probably you won't be the best at it always, because passion is something that drives people to make crazy things to achieve extraordinary results. Finally, and most importantly, that thing that you can be the best at and what you're passionate about should be a source of significant income. Basically, you should make a lot of money out of it, because at the end of the day, if business is not going to make money, it's a failed business. You have to find what's in the middle of these 3 circles. It should be something that includes all of them simultaneously. In other words, if you make a lot of money doing things at which you could never be the best, you will only build a successful company, not a great one. If you become the best at something, you'll never remain on the top if you don't have the instinct passion for what you are doing. Finally, you can be passionate all you want, but if you can't be the best at it or it doesn't make economic sense, then you might have a lot of fun, but you won't produce great results. I always wondered why sometimes small startups come up with some great ideas and make big fortune out of it, and why all these giant companies couldn't figure that out before these startups, when they are the ones who have all the resources, the money, the people and everything else. Well, it turns out when the business is still small, people have more freedom and ideas flow all around without any constraints. But in a big company, just for one employee to communicate the idea to the board, it takes a long process. I'm not even talking about starting it. These great companies basically created a culture where it's easy for everyone to express their thoughts, ideas, change their plans and whatever they need. Once they got the right people on the bus, they knew that they will work to make this company great. Finally, and surprisingly, on the top of all of these factors, leaders of these companies were quite different from the rest. You might be asking, why haven't you heard about them? Which is why they are great. They are not the big profile leaders who make the headlines, but rather they are the ones who have this extreme humility and put the interests of the company ahead of anything else. At the same time, they have all the required skills of a great leader. The combination of these characteristics make them to be the most important factor behind the greatness of these companies. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and let me know what are the other factors that you think make great companies different.